what we basically have is a WAN simulator running as well. So we're able to dial up different bandwidth based on different conditions. So we're starting off the demo with 10 megabits per second of bandwidth and 40 milliseconds of latency. So 20 milliseconds of latency on each side. And that's giving us sort of a remote location sort of latency and conditions. You know, we didn't want to start off at 50 meg because at 50 meg things are going to work reasonably well. We wanted to start it and show you how unoptimized versus optimized is going to perform. So as the videos are running, what I'll be doing is you'll see on the right-hand side, I'll be reducing the bandwidth and also increasing the latency to the point of things stopping to work. So hopefully that's coming across okay. But there we're starting it off at 10 megabits per second with 20 milliseconds of latency on each side. So that's a total of 40.
You can see you can see the videos are kind of stuttery already. You saw the egg time there, so that was still on 10 megs. So
we're now changing that to 5 megabits per second with 50 milliseconds of latency. And that graph on the right-hand side is actually showing how much throughput there is on the bottom. So it's showing you the throughput as those videos are starting to run. The top one is the transmit, and the bottom one is the received packets per second. So I'm bringing that down again, down to 1 megabit per second. And 100 milliseconds of latency. So it's 100 on each side, so it's a total of 200 milliseconds of latency. And you can start to see the throughput sort of drop, and you can see how bad the videos are sort of looking at this point in time. So I think hopefully you get the general idea of how bad that video is, and it's starting to break at this point in time and start to buffer and all the rest of it.
So, yeah, it pretty much comes to grinding halts. What we'll do now is we will show you the optimized version. Let me just go straight to the start. So you can see we're running the same script.
And we're running the same bandwidth. So I'm going to be incrementing the bandwidth to similar sort of levels.
So you can see it's all running.
But the interesting thing to note here is if you look at the bottom right-hand graph, look at the throughput going through the network. Because this is optimized, and we've seen these videos in the past, the amount of bandwidth coming through the network is really, really low. So I'm just about to dial it back down now, down to probably down to 5 milliseconds. Sorry, 5 megabits per second, and I can't remember what I dialed it back to, probably 50 milliseconds of latency. Now I've gone 5 megabits per second with 50 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds based on each end. And if you look at the bottom right-hand graph again, look at the throughput. It's still very insignificant. Now you probably can't see it so well on Zoom, but the video itself is very, very smooth in comparison to what we see previously. And again, I'm dialing this back down to 1 megabit per second now. And I think I'll go up to around 100 milliseconds each side, so it's 200 milliseconds total. And you'll continue to see this, this video run perfectly well, while even in the really constrained bandwidth, with still very, very little throughput coming through the network.